Yes, you are.
So am I.
What?
Yes, you are.
And what is your addiction, ladies and gentlemen?
Splatoon.
Yes, indeed.
Two.
Two. Of course it is. I mean, why would you still be playing one at this point?
Yeah, why would you?
Because you have a hard-on for Marie or Callie.
You can still see both in this game.
Yeah, but actually, yeah, that is a good point. Why would you go back?
Yeah, but you have to work for that.
Well, because you got extra waifus in this one too.
Good God, Marina fans. Oh, I don't blame you, but at the same time, I'm like, oh.
The art, man. It's the art. It's... Why?
It really is the fan art. It really just...
No, it's not just the fan art. I swear there is corporate intervention.
There's also cosplay already.
Yeah, I would believe that much, too.
Oh,
right.
my goodness.
So, we have received word of the newest Splatfest, and it will be pairing off the Pearl Mayonnaise crew
Against Marina's ketchup team.
Okay, be honest, everyone. Is there a Pearl fan base anymore?
Oh yes, because
Yes, there is, because there's the people who come over from Overwatch who are complete diva addicts and therefore need a gremlin to cheer behind.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I've also seen comics and fan art of Pearl that make her look even less like a gremlin and more like a thing from It.
From Stephen King's It.
No. I mean, The Thing. Like,
Oh, the thing.
The Thing.
Zero?
Oh, I'm fucked.
Yeah, you got mod.
Yeah, Zero's actually playing as we speak. So,
Behind you, Adrian! Behind you! Thank you. As soon as he got killed.
the thing about Splatoon 2 Salmon Run is that its limited time scope leaves some feelings to be desired.
Yeah, it usually does.
Yeah, but thankfully this wave's about to end.
That was a bad wave.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Zero and I were watching the announcement trailer for it, and it just like... Pearl has a really good personality, but they keep lambasting her with the wrong side.
She does. I was actually on her
First
side.
it was cake and ice cream. Now it's mayo.
Ketchup and mayonnaise? Really?
Like-
You're making us pick between those?
Okay, look, I can understand if it was ketchup and mustard, because I do know there are some people like my mom who would prefer mustard to mayonnaise,
I know the Japanese really like mustard, mayo.
which is probably the reason why, and I don't think mustard is as much a Japanese thing.
But the thing is, I put more ketchup on more things than I put mayo on anything.
Yeah, and even then they're referring to it usually by itself, not paired with anything else.
What gets me is some people actually dip fries in just mayonnaise.
That's a French thing.
Yeah, I
It's
think it is a
disgusting
French
is
thing.
what it is.
Yes, it is.
I mean, it's
No.
foreign, but it's different. So yeah, that's the latest Splatoon Fest. How has everyone been doing recently?
Doing okay for the most part.
And Muzi, you want to tell us about your week?
Spent at least most of the week over at my work experience, so I was slightly busy.
Okay. I hope it's all going well.
Yeah, I just finished like week 4. In fact,
Awesome.
we're probably going to extend it like 2 weeks. So in total, it'll probably be about 7 weeks instead of 5.
Okay, that's good. Extending the period is usually a good sign.
It's more to put on my resume.
Zero got respawned and then pushed out of bounds. Right, like within 2 seconds of being brought back.
That
wanna
is
get-
bull.
But we've also been making preparations
Alright.
because we actually have tickets bought to go to Maine in September.
Awesome. That'll be fun.
Yeah.
We'll spend half of it with my mom's family and half of it with my dad's family. So we'll be like in the southern part of Maine and then in the northern part of Maine. And apparently, according to Akari and Yami, I have one mission
Which is?
to see if that's within the range of getting a Tauros.
Is that the one they're missing?
Yeah, it's a regional.
Oh, man.
And there's only like a strip across Canada and some of US where you can get it.
Okay.
Yeah, the only way you're getting that is either by going to a different region or an egg.
So are you
No,
flying?
what really sucks though is that we have a 5-hour layover in Anchorage, right?
Okay.
Thankfully, my dad can access the YMCA lounge area for us, so we can sit there and watch TV. However, that's not an area where you can get a Toros. Seattle, our next stop is, but we're only there for an hour.
Ah, I see.
And our luck, we're gonna have to go from one concourse to the other.
Yeah, it works out that way.
Then we go all the way to Boston.
I was gonna ask you if you're flying continental or if you're going intercontinental for that or international for that one.
Stay away from United, please, for your own sake. Please do. Like you don't go United.
I didn't put this on the podcast notes initially because I didn't think it was relevant. But since you mentioned that you're flying, if you're bringing your Switch, you got to put it in a different. You got to put it by itself now in the carry-on.
Oh, I'm not bringing my Switch, but I am bringing like my Nook and all that. And I already found out about the TSA thing, so I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
How fast can I pull these things in and out of my backpack?
Yeah, that's gonna be a bear. For those of you who don't know, the TSA is mandating that if you have electronics larger than a phone, that you must put them in separate baggage bins now. That includes iPads, e-readers, and notoriously your Switches.
That's going to be
the best part is it won't include my 3DS because that's going to be in my backpack. Pretty much, I've got this planned out.
I was going to say
at least over $100 on my Nook.
I was going to say that they won't let you they won't require you to take out your 3DS.
As far as I know, not that because it's already in a case.
Okay.
And it would be the only thing left in my backpack at that point.
Okay.
I see.
Yeah,
because I've got this planned out. I've got over $100 on my Nook, probably more.
All right. You let me know how that goes because I'm
grabbing my iPad.
Okay, you let me know how that goes because it looks like I'm going to be flying back this Christmas. And so if that's the case, then I need to make sure that I'm not overdoing it with the stuff I have on my person either.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to have... One of the things they won't have me pull out because it's not like an actual like reader or anything is I'm going to have a shit ton of chargers in my backpack.
Oh, yeah.
The only problem, though, is that they won't be able to charge my 3DS. It's the one thing they won't be able to charge.
Okay. Yeah, I definitely keep a couple of spare battery packs on myself as well, so...
And thankfully, Akari's agreed to stay over here and take care of the pets while we're gone. Such a hardship, I know.
Oh, that's
He's
nice.
surrounded by a dog and a cat for 2 weeks. Oh, he's in such pain.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's good. Anything else?
They know him and they like him, so they won't freak out.
Yeah. Anything else interesting?
I've been playing some games when I'm actually home. Mostly,
Plenty of
obviously,
Splatoon, I
Splatoon
imagine.
2 and, like, Rise of the Tomb Raider. I've also been diving back into my Ace Attorney games. So,
Okay.
Yes.
some fun.
Rise of the Tomb Raider. We actually have a little bit of history. This is...
You mean I've shot several deer in the ass.
Yes! Yes! Thank you.
Well, it all started when I was going up against some actual, like, human bad guys. And one of them bent over as I fired the arrow.
And so you shot him in the
Shot him
ass.
in the butt and flipped in the air. And the first deer kill in the ass was actually an accident, but...
It was an accident?
Yes. And
Yes.
it did the same thing. It flipped in the air and then finally landed.
Good lord.
Son, I've been trying to recreate that because it's just hilarious.
Wonderful.
And I also have a little bit of personal history, and I will thank you every time you do shoot a deer in the ass. Just because you are, in fact, avenging me.
Yes.
Baby.
Because you were trying to mod out your Skyrim, if I recall properly.
May I go ahead and share the story, Moosey? Then I'll jump right back to you.
Sure.
Alright, so I continued to have my love-hate relationship with Skyrim, and at one point, it's deciding to be a bit of a butt. And it is so much of a butt that I can't even get into Whiterun, the central hub city of Skyrim.
And where are you stuck, my dear friend?
Right at the gates. And I have a bit of a weird thing going on with my save files. I'm basically playing step up by step up by step up by saving each time I take a few successful steps without crashing the game. And then reloading from that point so I could take a few steps forward. It is a tedious crawl at times. But as I do this, I suddenly realize that there's a suspiciously weird phenomenon going on in the game. And that is to say, there is a dead deer carcass lying face first into the earth that if I take 5 steps past, the game crashes me to the desktop.
Bambi's mom is cursing you.
Bambi's mom was cursing me. It was bizarre. And the weird thing was it was following me across save files. I would save having gone past the deer ass, and then it would materialize in front of me on the new load.
And not too long after this was when I shot the deer in the ass.
And my game started working again.
And so now,
Serendipity.
and so now he has to go ahead and now he has to go ahead and kill as many deer asses as possible.
So apparently that's my mission from him whenever I play Rise of the Tomb Raider now.
Yes.
To be fair, I actually do need their pelts, so this does help me.
And it brings me no end of joy and satisfaction to see that I am being avenged.
And then, let's see, me and Yami had some fun last Sunday. I may have gotten her up a little too early. I woke her up at like almost 9 o'clock.
Ooh.
To do what?
There was a Lugia raid downtown!
Oh! Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
On Facebook, in Fairbanks/North Pole area, we have a rare Pokemon/raid, Facebook chat.
Mm-hmm.
And people shared that, at the Pioneer Park here, that there was an Articuno and a Lugia raid in the same park.
At the same time?
Yes.
Good gracious.
So,
Nice.
because there's 3 gyms in that park now. And one had Lugia, and one had Articuno.
Seriously?
We all went for the Lugia first, because there was less time on it. There was a huge group of us that met up over there, because you can have 20 in a group for the raid. I think there was like 19 of us. And you could tell, the interesting part isn't taking it down, it's attempting to catch it. Because you only get the premier balls that they give you for that fight.
Ah.
Do they function about as well as Premier Balls in the handhelds?
Pretty much.
Ah.
Bullshit.
You do, however, get these things called golden razzes, which work kind of like the raspberries that you already get,
Which make them friendlier and easier to catch.
but these ones work even better. So it gives you a better chance of getting them.
So it turns like a normal ball into like maybe say an ultra ball chance.
Yeah, possibly.
Ugh.
Me and maybe 2 other people out of the 19 caught it.
Really?
So the very first raid of the day, I got a Lugia.
Nice.
How many of them do you have at this point, I might ask?
2.
2?
You have 2!
Hey, I've had a chance to catch at least 4 more and they've run, okay?
So, you've had 6 tries, and you've
And caught 2.
caught 2. So let that be an indication of how difficult these guys are.
Right after that, we ran over to the other side of the park and did the Articuno one. He's obviously a lot easier to take down. Again, it's the catching part.
Right. That is the problem.
The first ball that I threw, I caught the Articuno.
Oh, come on! That's Chugga Conroy levels of luck right there.
I had already fulfilled my goal within the first 2 raids of the day.
Jesus Christ.
However, me and Yami spent most of the day going around town to the various raids, attempting to catch these things, because she had gotten an Articuno the night before. So she already had an Articuno. She was like, yeah, I'll just do the other ones to catch more of them. She has 3 of them, by the way.
Oh, come on.
I mean, you have to work hard to get what you want.
Jesus Christ.
I know, but
We
dang.
spent the entire day trying to find more Lugia raids. I mean, obviously they were everywhere. But it's the catching part, like I said.
That's the
She
problem.
could not get one for the life of her that day.
Mm-hmm.
We finally, just the other day, managed to get to a Lugia raid, and she actually caught one.
Well then.
Nice.
However,
nice.
Akari was not able to join us on our mass raid run on Sunday because he didn't get off till 4:30.
Let's say he had work.
So, after work, he's in the same chat. He found out that there was an Articuno downtown. And we were tired. We were at Yami's house by this point. We were just dead.
Yeah.
We're like, you go try and catch it. He finally got an Articuno. However, we have tried at least 3 times to get him a Lugia. And the poor guy, it just keeps running on him.
Yeah.
It's a tough one.
Yeah, I
However,
can imagine.
the hype will not end because after 31st, Moltres comes out.
Yes, it does.
Oh boy.
So, we will be on like a mass raid finding run again in the chat to find Moltres and try to catch it because we have a week to do that before Zapdos comes out.
Yeah, they are doing. I understand that they are doing the legendary birds very quickly.
This
Yeah.
will not be the last time we hear of the Pokemon Go news, for more of it is upon us.
Yes, we do have more of it,
So,
but
the
for the
one
meantime,
obviously that Akari's waiting for the most is Zapdos.
yes, he is.
Me too.
For a good reason. Zapdos is one of my personal favorites as well.
I caught one of my favorites already, so technically 2 of them because I love Articuno and Lugia, so. You know what the best part is?
What's up?
One of my Lugias is a wonder, and both of my Articunos are wonders.
Are wonders?
That means that they're 80% IV or up.
Oh, wow.
my gosh!
Really?
I just wanted to groan the other day, though. Because one of my eggs hatched, and it was 100% IV Geodude.
Oh gosh!
I was like, why? Of all the things to be 100% IV. It's not my first one either. My first one is sad. It was a Tentacool.
Tentacool at 100%?
I also have a 100% Golduck.
the saddest of Pokemon.
However, I also have 100% Dragonite, so...
Oh, okay. So it's not entirely bad.
100% Dragonite.
It's interesting when you praise the Pokemon, because if it keeps going, saying, you know, the 3 different stats, your jaw starts to drop. I've actually had ones where it lists all 3 stats, and then it goes, impressed by stats, which means it's not perfect, and you're like, ah!
Yes.
Oh, yeah. I recall I had many of the same feelings when I was trying to IV breed my Pokemon in X.
In X or in Platinum when we were really into it.
Well, I didn't really get into IV breeding until X and Y made it easier on me.
All right.
I was only into EV training in Platinum and Soul Silver. That was like, oh god, I was like a
That was the heyday.
That was the heyday for me, at least.
No, I agree with you. I think we started getting a little bit lazy after Black and White.
Yeah, it was.
It was a simpler time. It was a happier time.
You know, I'm actually reading Tale of Two Cities, right?
Yes. All right. Anything else, Wizzy, or can we move on to the next Legend Hunter?
Well, what's been painful is I've been at work when a lot of these really cool raids have been hitting.
So you've been limited in your options.
I'm like, no! And raids end at 9 p.m.,
Gotcha.
which is smart because then you don't have people.
Wandering about loitering.
It's middle of the night, hooting and hollering and
Exactly.
waking people up, and that's how Pokestops get taken from people.
Yes, that's exactly what happens.
It's a shame you don't have like a an actual stop like right at your workplace.
Oh, I do,
Oh, you
but
do?
it's not a gym.
Oh, you lucky.
There you go.
So there are 2 right outside the building that I'm working in. The problem is that where I normally am in the building, I am right in between them, but I am just out of distance of both.
I get you.
Ah, the eternal struggle.
And one more thing, I have a couple more softball games and then the tournament later this week. Yes!
Ooh, fun.
Wish you luck.
Double elimination, 1 pitch. Walk up there with a full count. If that ball looks like it's going to hit that strike mat, you better be swinging.
Alrighty then.
All right.
So-
Zero, how was your week?
My week has been
Splatoon 2, Splatoon 2, Splatoon 2 Central.
Yeah!
well. You're not wrong.
I think that sums it up.
Really not much else has been going on. I've been trying to do art here and there, and just overall in general, not much has been going on. Actually, what I have been working on is our next Let's Play,
Yes.
Yay!
Which we've been recording in secret. Weehehehe.
Though I think we have kind of given away several hints as to what we're looking into recording.
You mean like dad ass?
Yes.
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 Specifically the dead ass.
And I get
all-
secret previews of the title card.
Yes.
Yes.
yeah.
The votes were in, and yes, we were not going to be.
I think people already know, considering I did a poll on Twitter.
Yes.
So I'm just going to say it. It's fucking Bayonetta 2.
Yes.
Woohoo!
We had to concede a little earlier than was expected. Even though votes were coming in, we kind of knew where it was going the moment we saw 69% favor.
Yeah.
And we said, okay, that's just perfect. So.
It was
yeah.
a sign from the internet.
It was a sign from the heavens. Oh boy. Oh man. So, what else is there, Zero?
Not much, to be honest. There really hasn't been much going on with me. Well, I did go for an interview a while back. I still haven't heard back from them.
All right. You need to give him a
Best
call.
of luck with that, and give them a call.
Yeah.
Remind them of your existence.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
Sometimes that's what gets you a job, is showing that you have interest still.
Yeah. Yeah.
Aye.
Alright.
Leo's a little pissed off because he was trying to do
The
same.
fucker did not decide to respond us. The bastard. He went.
Well, for starters, he never pressed up on the D-pad for help.
No, you're supposed to stay with the team, you fuckwits.
Not to mention,
You don't go Rambo in a survival mode. That's how you get killed.
by the way, to kill the steelhead, you had to shoot
I
the
know.
bomb on
I
its
know. I
head.
have to go, but there was a Moz right around me.
2 has hijacked our
What did I
podcast.
tell you?
Yeah.
Anyway, Legend, why don't you talk
the
about it?
original came out too.
What's that?
So-
Legend, why don't you go?
Before I go, what was that, Woozy?
It did on the original one too.
That is true.
Yeah.
Okay, so my week. Let me see. Well, I don't want to regale you with even more tales of bullshit and shenaniganery that,
Dear ass.
what's up?
Dear ass.
Dear ass, I have. I have regaled that tale. And it is but one of many that I could share. Though, if I may just condense it to just a few personal stories from when I was working with the modding. Oh! I decided to try my hand at Skyrim Requiem, which essentially turns Skyrim into the bullshit equivalent of Dark Souls.
The hell is wrong with you?
I wish I knew, but I was getting kind of bored of my original.
Going mod crazy is what you're doing.
Yes.
Well, I actually do keep a tab on how many mods I usually have at any time, just because, again, I'm running off of a pretty poor rig. That said, there are those moments where it's like, and it actually works. There was actually a point where I thought it would be a grand idea. God help me, a grand idea to do this. It was not. I decided to start out with no weapons, no armor, just rags, and in a prison.
Jesus.
And as a note, you actually have to know what you're doing
Yes, you
in order
do.
to break out of prison.
Yes, you
That
do.
would help.
It would. I was getting one shot by the guards.
And the lockpicking?
Lockpicking is non-existent if you don't have at least one perk to get you started.
So you actually have to take the perk instead of just, I played Fallout 3 and I know exactly how this works.
Oh no, if you do not have at least one perk in lockpicking, it is impossible. Even a novice level lock will work like a master lock. It is bullshit!
Well, they had to balance it out somehow, otherwise I mean, as it was in the vanilla game, lockpicking was manageable up to adept,
Right.
and then expert and master, which is bullshit.
They were. Like, you had to, look for the hairline sweet spots on the entire rotary lock system in order to open it.
Unless you had invested in lockpicking, under which case, why would you?
Well, why would you invest in lockpicking to begin with?
Ex-
Lockpicking was shit.
Yeah, exactly. Except for, I think there was there's there's a handful of perks. I think one boosts the amount of money you get from anything. And
it
there's-
boosts the money.
But there's another perk, and the one that's more infamous is that it requires you that it doubles your weight lift. That's, I believe, what it does.
That is under pickpocketing.
Oh, it's under pickpocketing? I thought it was under
No,
lockpicking.
that would make lockpicking useful.
Yes.
And we couldn't have that.
Mm-hmm.
No, the lockpicking was exclusively for finding more rewards from treasure chests, which, to be honest, you wouldn't have that much of a problem anyway, considering the massive amount of gold you'd be reaping just on vanilla. So, no, lockpicking is... It was bullshit back then, and now it is bullshitly required now.
Mm-hmm.
It got to the point where I felt like I needed to attack the guard through the lock in order to get him to charge at me and open the door. I succeeded, and succeeded in getting one shot.
Yeesh.
So I figured, you know what, maybe I shouldn't do this. Maybe I'll just, I'll go ahead and just wait out my sentence, and they'll release me naturally. They released me naturally into a crash to desktop.
Into a CTD.
But you got released.
I did get released, and then immediately dumped back into the point where I was in the cell, having not succeeded in being saved outside of the cell. So I had to do it again, knowing that I only faced a crash to desktop if I dared try to wait out the sentence. It was
A bushi.
It was a bullshit. And last thing I'll say about Requiem is that it levels all areas based on what should be there, as opposed to your current level. Normally, the world scales with you. Like if you're at level 1, you're going to be fighting level 1 wolves. If you're at level 5, you're going to be facing level 5 wolves.
You're at level 10, you face level 10 bears.
Yes.
Is there such thing as a level 10 bear?
Yes, it's called a cave bear. They suck. But in Requiem, There is no leveled world. There is no world that is scaling alongside your current skill level.
Instead, it pulls a Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas, in which wherever the area is, it's set for that specific level.
Which is to say, if you're up north, you're fucked.
I think that's also the case with Fallout 4 as well.
Yeah, Fallout 4 has those areas too, but it's slightly generous because the enemies do scale even within that. In Fallout 3 and in New Vegas, they were hard set limits that you could not go past a certain point.
Ugh.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
And crazy was what I experienced. The moment I finally managed to break out of prison and run away from the one-shot kill guards, I realized I was in Dawnstar and I was attacked by a troll.
Oh god.
A frost troll.
I was about to say, was it a frost troll too?
It was a frost troll, and an ice wolf, and a snow bear, all at
Oh my
once.
god.
Thankfully, the Imperial Guards decided it would be on my side this time, because I didn't actually shoot at them or do anything mean to them. For the glory of the Empire. And yeah, they saved me. And that's when I realized, oh shoot, the NPCs are also leveled, which means, yeah, they can one-shot you too. And it was at that point that I started wishing that I had never downloaded the mod in the first place. So, there's that. Haven't gotten any word from work, so that's kind of worrisome. I feel like the boss either forgot about me or is purposely not calling me, or they're just not getting anything.
Well, it's time to start looking for more reliable work then.
Oh, I do declare this is so. Let me see. Is there anything else? Also been busy writing. Doing a lot of writing and doing a lot of character creation. Just making sure I got all of my eggs in order. There's a lot of work that goes into writing a world, and I believe Leo can attest to that the most.
To what?
To writing a world.
Oh, yes.
And
Yes.
on that note, why don't we pass that over to you, Leo?
Alright, fine. I went ahead and I've been busy. We had our last Ravenloft session for a while that we've had.
Oh, that.
Which went out pretty well, I would say, for the most part. Everyone had a good time. It was generally a decent event. Nothing.
You wore
in
each other
partic-
out.
Yeah.
Yes, it was, and we also got to get our new member in on it too.
Yes, we did. One of my old friends joined us for the session, so now he will hopefully be hang out with us more often.
I should also note that this fellow did something that was unprecedented for our group.
Well,
and it was
unprecedented for everyone else except me, and played as a non-human or elf character.
What a twist.
He played the very first dwarf,
Yes.
and he received no end of praise that day.
Yes. Any other events that we did? Let me think. I got my hands. I finished my internship last week, so that was good. It was a pretty lax event. We had donuts the first week. The first day of that week on the Monday of my last week, we had donuts. And on Friday we had ice cream, root beer floats, and Thursday they took me out to lunch.
Nice.
So it was a pretty eventful last week, all things through and through. I got my hands on a Bayonetta 2 amiibo.
Lucky bastard.
Yay!
Very nice. And I also got my hands on Eternal Sonata.
Really? The game that's basically inside Mozart's head.
Yes, it is a fantasy
Not Mozart, Chopin.
It's a fantasy RPG that takes place during Chopin's final moments and basically takes you into a Japanese RPG world. And it basically plays out its final moments. It's supposed to be really good, but it was just the one copy that my GameStop had was just lingering around there, so I finally picked it up.
Which system, if you don't mind me
PS3. It's PS3.
asking? Oh, nice. It was originally on the Xbox 360 as well, and
Yeah, I think it was one of those early launch titles, or early launch titles that people always keep saying but never got a chance to really use.
yes, and I remember it was very interesting too. Essentially, the core mechanics evolve as you play the game.
Yeah, it revolves around light and darkness a lot.
I was actually referring to realistic combat. Like, there's a point where you're expected to make decisions more and more in real time, and it functions less like an RPG and more like an action RPG until the point where it becomes so close to reality that you wouldn't blame our resident dying musician for believing that he is actually in a real world and abandons the old one.
Mm-hmm.
Which is cool. Anyway, how far have you gotten?
No, I haven't started yet. I just picked it up.
Oh, okay.
The one that I was playing for a bit. I've been playing Pokemon Platinum, some Donkey Kong Country 3, which as soon as I bought it from the eShop, I remember why it's my least favorite of the 3 DKC games of the classic, because it's a bullshit. And the biggest thing about it that's bullshit is your animal buddies and the over-reliance on having a full team the entire way through. You have the main animal buddy that gets featured in this game is a elephant who is nominally afraid of rats to the point that you can't be in the same that opponent cannot attack rats if she sees them. She will instead run away, and so that you have to either get you have to either blow them away with barrels, or you have to shoot at them with water. With water shots that the elephant can absorb, which gives it a ranged element, but it's not that useful. And it's actually really finicky because it shoots water in an arc. So it becomes kind of a bear to actually try and manipulate it. Other things, the stage hazards have a difficult, or can be rather predictably dickish, to the point that you have to know that the obstacle is coming in order to dodge it properly, which can always be a bear. And just a couple, the designs don't seem, I just don't like the locations as creatively as some of the other areas that are in DK1 or DK2.
I see.
So it lacks the spectacle, and there's a certain element of artificial difficulty in it.
Huh.
The other game that I played, which is the newer one, is Kirby Team Battle.
Kirby Team Battle.
Yeah, it's the one where you play as a Kirby, and you choose either warrior as a sword hero, hammer lord, beam wizard, or doc healer, potion healer. It's the team-based role-playing Kirby game.
Huh.
And so what it works out to is it's essentially, imagine if they made a Monster Hunter Kirby game in which the entire point was to kill the mini bosses.
Okay.
Huh.
And so you can choose up to 4. You can get up to a team of 4, and you take on these bosses all at once. And you have your heroes, and you fight the bosses. Swords are your basic attackers who deal moderate amounts of damage, but then can go ahead and but have better defenses. Hammer lords are your DDDs, where they can go ahead and use hammer charge strikes to deal more damage for limited amounts of time. You got beam wizards who can do magic stuff, and the favorite ability that I had from that was using the time blast, which builds up a damage meter on your opponents, and when it's full out, you go into Zawaldo, and everyone gets free hits on the opponent.
Nice.
And then, of course, the last one is the doc healer, where you basically become you basically instead heal, use your potions to deal damage and heal your team with various effects. Basically how that works. It is definitely a strategy RPG, and I'm curious to seeing how it would work in a paid model, because it doesn't really because it works more like a free to play game right now. And the demo is available for anyone to download on your 3DS, but it really works like a free to play game than an actual say than say a traditional Kirby game. So there's a real heavy Monster Hunter inspiration here. It feels like.
Alrighty.
Other than that, that's been about it for me.
All right.
All
So should we go ahead and get into the news then?
I think we can get into the news 40 minutes in.
Of course.
All right. Let's go ahead and open up with the news. First off, it seems like we have terrible luck when it comes to pre-ordering, because if it's not Nintendo screwing you over, it's the retailer themselves.
Of course.
Walmart has dropped the ball on SNES Mini pre-orders.
Yes. So SNES Classic, but the NES Classic apparently had to cancel all of its orders because they accidentally made the product available before it actually was.
Ooh.
Oh wow.
So there is a bunch of people who were supposed to be getting that do not have them now. It's about an hour and a half they had of pre-ordering before they caught this snafu, which is terrible.
I really want one, but I seriously doubt I'll find one because it comes out while I'm gone.
Yeah, it's a terrible. It comes out in September, right?
Yep.
Yep. Whew. It's rough.
We leave like the 21st or 22nd. It comes out while we're gone.
Yeah. It's rough.
My only hope would be to find a GameStop somewhere and pray that one of them has it.
Yeah, and I think even then, if you don't pre-order it, they won't have it in stock and waiting for you, just because of how I predict it'll be that popular.
Yeah. I'm not holding out any hope that we'll ever get it.
I mean, we might. It's just going to go on the black market quicker than we think.
It's going to be another amiibo situation.
Yeah.
Or a Switch issue.
I think the Switch was better handled.
No, it really wasn't.
Compared to the amiibos the first time around, yes.
Let's see. Moving on down the line.
Yes. Next thing we have the Pokemon. Over 24 people are suing Niantic for the botched Pokemon GoFest incident.
Which is dumb as hell.
Okay, you want to talk about the incident itself, Muzi? Before I go into this
What
lawsuit
happened
thing?
was a lot of people couldn't play the game because they had over 10,000 people in one area.
Right.
What did people think was going to happen when everybody wants to use their cell phones? Everybody is blaming Niantic. However, we finally have backstory to what happened.
Yes.
Before the event even finished planning, Niantic had reached out to the different cell phone companies and said, we're going to need you to boost your signals here. Obviously, Sprint did because Sprint was part of the event.
Yes.
They reached out to all of them, like AT&T and Verizon and all this stuff, and they're like, oh no, our signal should be fine for that area.
Dumbasses.
It wasn't.
Right.
So it wasn't Niantic's fault. The only part that was on Niantic was that there was a game crashing bug. However, they had a direct line to the engineers who were immediately jumping on that and fixing it.
Yep.
All right.
The rest of the problem was the cell phone companies that didn't bring out portable signal enhancers.
Yeah.
However, after the first couple hours, they finally got them to bring them out, and everybody got to play. So these people suing because the promises weren't met were the ones who left before things got fixed.
Right. But these are people who traveled from California and even out of the country to go
That's
to the
also
event.
why they extended everything that was associated with the event
Right.
to keep those promises.
Right. And so
And they extended the range of the event so people could actually go like 2 miles out from the park and still do the event.
right. It was not a there were some definitely logistical issues, but certainly the main issue would be the how everything played out. So these people are trying to sue for monetary. Let me see what the exact issue is. They were wanting to sue for their fees because they weren't able to catch the Pokemon at the event.
Niantic is already issuing refunds to people who want them.
Yeah, as well as $100 of in-game credit with the legendary Pokemon.
Yes. They
So-
didn't have to work to catch the Pokemon. They had to fight it. But they got that nice green ring. They had a guaranteed capture for any legendaries during the event.
Yep,
Repeatedly.
absolutely.
So a lot of these people who were complaining now have like 20 Lugias and all this other stuff, you know. So they're already issuing refunds to everybody, the extra in-game credit, the free legendaries. It's like, and they even extended for 3 extra days the bonuses that came with the event.
Huh.
So Niantic jumped on this right away. They didn't just sit there and twiddle their thumbs to try to figure out what was going on. Before the event had even fixed itself, they were already announcing this.
Absolutely, yeah. It was.
And then right after that, the game was working and everybody was having a blast.
But the moment that it happened is when people are already complaining and wanting to do stuff. So that's unfortunately where the problem is.
Speaking of Pokemon Go and taking long trips and legendary events, we have a missing party.
No, he's coming back. No, he's
So
coming
apparently Spark from Team Instinct had disappeared.
back. It was a glitch in the system to where instead for Team Instinct members, instead of Spark coming up to evaluate their Pokemon, it was Candella.
From Team
Valor. Yes.
That
That's
was
kinda
another
weird.
thing that they jumped on. They're like, it's okay, people. It's okay. He's still in the game.
Yes.
There was just a bug. The next update, he'll be back. It's okay.
We did not patch him out. We did not patch him out. We swear.
Sure they
It's
did.
it's kind of a funny event either way, but yeah, people were concerned about that, so that's just a nice little thing to just add in there.
I think what did it for me and just made me go LOL for days was just the fact that there actually was a missing person poster on a milk carton for this.
Yes, they've actually
They actually
missing
made
posters.
Posters of this guy.
That are
Yeah.
really damn good photoshops.
If you scroll down further into the story, they actually show one of the missing posters somebody made.
It's glorious.
Nice.
That's weird.
Nice.
It's wonderful.
They even have the last scene date on there.
Okay. The next episode will be the next story will make Akari very happy, as ARMS will be getting its first tournament debut coming in January at EVO Japan 2018.
Huh.
You mean arms will be useful?
I'm sorry?
Arms will be useful?
Yeah, ARMS is going to be a competitive video game.
Really?
Dude, Mr. Yabuki. Oh.
Yes, we know the stories that you were telling us about Mr. Well, why don't you tell the story about Mr. Yabuki, since I don't think we covered it on the podcast.
Okay, just in case I have not covered it on the podcast. When they did the, it was at E3 if I'm not mistaken.
Must have been.
It must have been in the E3. But they had a sort of, a little mini tournament between some people who were supposedly quote-unquote pros, who kind of got washed up. Excuse me.
Ooh.
A little hiccup there.
Even pros suffer from the gremlins every time to time.
Yeah, but all of the pros except for one were eliminated early on, and it was double elimination if I'm not mistaken. So
Yeah, I mean that's tournament standard.
right, so it was kind of like not looking too good, and a lot of people were using a lot of spammy attacks, which not very good show. Until the champion, having gotten the belt from Mr. Yabuki, is issued a challenge by Yabuki, who is in fact the director of ARMS.
Huh.
Mr. Yabuki proceeds to almost flawlessly tear this guy apart. It was to the point where it was a work of art. Like, I had seen jugglers with less skill than Mr. Yabuki in that battle. It was incredible. And it was to the point where people were actually saying that the true final boss of ARMS is nothing. It's not even going to be a character in the game. It's going to be Mr. Yabuki. And he became a meme almost overnight. And yeah, I would not be surprised to see a Mr. Yabuki meme show up as a brutal final battle in ARMS at any
That
point.
would be awesome.
It would. It would be a glorious It would be a glorious meme fest, I swear.
Make it like a Easter egg thing that you have to find, you know?
Yeah. Oh, it would be the best.
Like a secret boss.
And like make him one of the most difficult but awesome final battles in the game where you actually have to be on the level in order to actually get him.
Oh, good
Yes.
lord.
It would be glorious.
You maybe. I find no interest in it whatsoever.
Of course you don't. You don't have arms. Or legs. Legs DLC not included.
No, we're not.
Yeah.
We're not going to get a video game called Legs.
Good lord.
But we got one named Arms.
So we do. We might.
No, technically, the game called Legs is Bayonetta.
You're not wrong.
No,
It's
that's
called-
dead ass.
Legs were not confirmed until Twintel showed up.
No, those are thighs, my friend. Anyway,
She got
we
leg.
have word from Square Enix that Dragon Quest XI: Echoes of an Elusive Era is going to be coming out for 2018.
Yay!
For the States.
That's an interesting name for it.
Yes, well, I think the later games have been going for more alliteration in their subtitles.
I know I remember Chapters of the Chosen, Hand of the Heavenly Bride.
Yes.
Seeds of Destiny. That sounds.
You know.
What was the Dragon Quest? The Dragon Quest Heroes has some alliterative names. It's Dragon Quest Heroes and the World Tree.
World Tree's Woe and
Woe.
the Blight Below.
World Tree's Woe and the Blight Below is for Heroes 1.
Yeah.
Alliteration.
I don't know what
and-
Heroes 2 is because I don't have it.
But it does have something similar to that.
Alliteration, assonance, and internal rhyme, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, Mr.
Yeah.
English major. As you know, Dragon Quest VIII is all about the puns when it comes to its monster names.
Of course.
Journey of the Cursed King.
Still one of my favorites.
Let's see.
Big question is if you get this game, which system would you get it for?
Oh yeah, so they have not completely confirmed it yet. It is going to come out for PS4 and 3DS for an odd combination. But the question that everyone's wondering is if there's going to be a Switch release.
Yeah.
And that's up in the air right now. The next thing we have is Stormy Ascent DLC released free for Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy.
A 30-year-old, not 30-year-old, but like a 15-year-old game, pretty much.
No. Here's the thing about Stormy Ascent. Stormy Ascent was a cut level
Really?
from Crash Bandicoot. It was when people data dived into the original disc and found its files still in there. It was mostly fleshed out. It was almost completed, basically.
But it never saw the light
But
of day.
it never saw the light of day because the developers thought it was too difficult.
Oh.
And so,
We
People
live in
are
an
already
era-
screaming about how hard the trilogy is.
well, okay, so like we said in the last time the podcast came around, the reason for that is because when they were rebooting it, they cut corners on the edges of Crash Bandicoot's hitbox.
Which means he rolls
Yes,
off cliffs.
Yeah, he does not. He was a square box when they made him for the PlayStation, and so you actually had a little bit more legroom to work with. Now you don't,
Yeah.
No, you don't.
Well, and they brought more physics into the game.
and they brought more physics because I think they were using something closer to Crash 3 physics and Crash 1, which had very finicky physics even back then. But yeah, so they brought back the hardest level that was considered too hard for the main game, and they brought it back as free DLC for Crash Bandicoot 1.
I think I remember seeing a video about Kid Icarus bitching about this one.
Yes.
I didn't watch it because I was like, really? You're just bitching about this level? I'm like, don't care.
This level is legendarily hard in a game that's already being compared to the next Dark Souls.
This reminds me.
Oh, by the way,
Well,
you can't access this level until after you've beaten the game.
Oh my
Well,
God.
to be fair, it's extra content, and
Oh,
now, if I may, I have one more.
Trilogy, did you want to share your awesome listening to while you do mods thing?
Yes. One last story.
What is the relevance of it, though?
Okay, so while I was stuck in modding
Oh wait,
hell,
I know what the relevance of it is. Go ahead.
while I was stuck in modding hell,
Oh, God.
I decided to have my phone playing YouTube because, you know what? Hey, look, there's a new video from Markiplier. It turned out to be a song that resonated with my soul while I was modding with Skyrim.
And that is?
I don't like this. I don't like this. Oh God! As I was currently going through a crisis where my machine was in limbo at the time, and trying to figure out what parts did I fuck up while I was making this thing work,
Mm-hmm.
for 3 hours, I basically had that song on repeat as he's going through as Markiplier is going through his own shenanigans in the Crash Bandicoot games. He was going through hell just like I was. And the song resonated with us both.
Indeed.
Now I can't actually mod Skyrim without that song going off in my head. It's Pavlovian at this point.
Fantastic.
Jesus Christ.
All right. Next we have new screenshots from Code Vein,
Code Vein.
Which looks absolutely fantastic.
It's basically...
Remember the Namco Bandai Dark Souls thing?
Yes, the anime-esque Dark Souls.
Yes. With vampires.
The vampires.
In other words, Bloodborne. How much... I can't help but realize that after Bloodborne, Dark Souls 3 just became way too anime-esque. Eesh.
Really?
Yeah, very much so. Like, they focused less on... they focused more on flashiness and big moves as opposed to, well... I don't know.
Because that's what it was starting to switch to. They were
Exactly.
they were going out of low fantasy into high fantasy.
High fantasy, more like high horror.
That was
That was Bloodborne.
Yeah.
But
Anyway.
okay, the next game is okay. So we got a Korean rating ruling coming out of South Korea for Apollo Justice Ace Attorney for the 3DS of all things.
Really?
Yes. So we might actually be seeing that coming stateside, maybe in the near future.
No, you know what they need to do?
What do they need to do?
You know how they brought out the trilogy in one game, right?
Yeah.
Oh.
Give us the frickin' investigation games in one set. Actually, give us 2.
I mean, that would require them to localize it, though. But considering that they've already been localized by the fans, it shouldn't be that
I know,
difficult.
all they gotta do is just, heck, they could use that version and just pay the people who did it.
Yeah, exactly.
People won't care. They just want the damn game over here.
Mhm.
Luckily, I managed to, find somebody to watch that, played the translated version of it, and it's a freaking awesome game. I want to play it for myself.
Absolutely, absolutely. Here's a game that got passed up prior to E3 that we kind of need to take a little bit of attention towards.
Magic the Gathering?
No, Concept Revolt, which is Magic the Gathering if you were playing on a Monopoly board.
Oh my god.
So, Magic the Gathering mixed with Fortune Street.
No, because this requires RPG elements as opposed to outright financial malarkey.
Oh, God.
So
In
apparently,
other words, slightly more up my alley.
so it's a puzzle RPG where you're going through a political revolution in this world, which apparently the Concept series has been a thing since the 90s.
Really?
It's apparently that old, and it's been rebooted repeatedly, even having a game on the DS, which I didn't even know came out.
Huh.
But apparently, this game is supposed to be something akin to, imagine Final Fantasy Tactics, but they solved everything on a Monopoly board. and then they played Magic the Gathering to actually do the battles. And that's the kind of game we're getting into here.
It's a fascinating concept.
But
And if it's multiplayer supported, even better.
Yeah, it's multiplayer supported naturally. But the deal is that we haven't seen anything of it yet. It was originally slated for a summer release, but now it looks more likely it will be released sometime in September, depending on what sources say. So we'll see how that works out.
All right.
Shall
we step into my territory?
Yes. Talk about this one, Legend, because honestly, I don't know what to make of it.
Well, it's kind of difficult to make for. It's kind of a difficult concept as well, though at the same time, it's kind of a cool one.
Honestly, it's really simple, and I don't know why you're having trouble with it.
Well, I have difficulty articulating when it comes to things I especially like.
Okay.
So, Monster Hunter Stories is basically Monster Hunter as an RPG.
As a Pokemon RPG.
As a Pokemon RPG, but there is, well, you hunt monsters. You continue to hunt monsters,
Yes,
but
and
now
you
you
have-
also raise them and use them as your mounts.
For Pokemon-style fights.
Yes and no. You can't actually have a team of monsters.
Well,
from what I've seen.
It's more like Stadium.
Well, I haven't really played too much Stadium, but essentially, you and your monster versus him and their monster. It is multiplayer compatible. I don't know how balanced it is, but I also can attest to the fact that it can. If you ever wanted to ride or befriend the monsters that you've been killing and wearing as armor over and over again in the Monster Hunter series,
And if you, since I like Zenogre, then yes, I'd like to ride one of those.
or a Nargacuga.
I was going to say, I think Snargacuga is mountable. I'm not entirely sure about the Zenogre.
It is.
It is? Okay.
It is, along with Tigrex. You cannot ride a Fatalis because Fatalis don't play nice.
I think the big thing is that the confusing thing about this game is that it stops before generations, because you can't ride a Glavenus or the Bubble Dragon.
No, you would basically be riding the Mizusune. You would essentially be playing with the classic beloved, quote-unquote beloved, monsters.
So things limited within Monster Hunters 3 and 4, basically.
Mm-hmm. Which include Rathalos and Rathian, as well as Zenogre, Nargacuga, the dog and the cat, and Tigrex, because why the fuck not? Who would ride one of these? Riding one of those is like trying to ride a roller coaster while holding on with your bare hands.
Because people are crazy. And it's also very chibi anime-esque.
It is very chibi.
They have reduced the lifelike art style to that of a Saturday morning shonen.
Actually, the main character looks like the main character from Yokai Watch, actually.
Yeah, he does.
Burn it with fire.
I would swear that they're made by the same animation team.
It's funny
Burn
that you
it-
should
burn it
mention
with
an
fire.
anime.
There's an anime for
Is
it.
it
Yeah,
an
I've seen it.
I'm not a fan, but I acknowledge that it exists.
Is it too shonen, or is it just bad?
Well, maybe it was the one episode that I saw that was bad, but it was,
What was the
really
one episode-
badly paced.
What was the one episode you saw?
Well, essentially, the main premise of the story, both in the RPG as well as in the anime, is that there's a sickness that's going about and affecting monsters, including the mounts.
Okay.
And this is causing a lot of consternation because even the wilder monsters are getting even more wild and just going bananas
Mm-hmm.
before eventually dying, aka much like the plot of Monster Hunter 4.
Okay.
So, like the frenzy virus.
Pretty much that, yeah. And because the frenzy virus is affecting the mounts, this is especially problematic for the writers, and they kind of split off. I appreciate the moral quandary that it presents. Like, there's one faction who believe that monsters that have been infected cannot be allowed to live and therefore have to be put down.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the other faction that believes that there is a way to resuscitate these monsters, clean them out, and keep them alive.
Mm-hmm.
And release them back into the wild.
Yes. Well, no. No, not the mounts. The mounts kind of are dependent. So
Domesticated versus wild animals.
yes. So while I did appreciate that this is a very, very cool moral, the fact was that it was so badly paced that I found myself starving for an abridged version. It just called out all the characters on their bullshit.
Really?
But I'm not going to hold out for one.
No, I doubt it.
Anyway,
Let's see. So next thing we have on here, we got
something more complicated,
We
but
got-
more awesome.
we got a preview at one of the older cartoon movies that are coming back, Rocko's Modern Life, the movie,
Oh boy.
Oh yeah.
which I showed both of you guys yesterday before the podcast. And what did you guys think of the take of a 90s cartoon taking a 20-year time jump?
Chest burster, arm, high five for the win.
Mm-hmm. The movie promises to go ahead and take a look at an Orwellian future, oddly enough, and describes how drastically things have changed since the original inception of Rocko's Modern Life to present day, and how things have changed with technology.
And
I
it
like
is actually
the,
a hilarious
iPhone
take.
thing.
What's up?
The O phone.
The O phone, yes. Yeah, they definitely make a bunch of cracks at a lot of modern tech, particularly Facebook and the iPhone.
Which is hilarious, and I don't know what the radioactive juice was.
It's supposed to be Red Bull.
There we go.
Or probably more notoriously for Loco. Because that's the one that got banned.
It's radioactive.
Yeah, I mean, it might as well be, all things
Yeah.
considered. That one we're looking forward to, as well as the Hey Arnold one, which I also showed the trailer for that one to you guys.
Yes, you
Have you seen both of those trailers, Muzi, for Rocko's Modern Life or the Hey Arnold movie?
I've seen part of the Rocko's Modern Life one.
Okay, you need to see the Hey Arnold one, because it's actually rather touching.
Huh.
Remember, the one where it ends with everyone talking about what all the good things Hey Arnold did?
Yeah, I remember. We just saw it yesterday.
That's what I'm saying.
Or-
You make it sound like you don't remember.
No, I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Sorry.
For me, touching on the Hey Arnold one, you touched on the fact that Arnold's parents are basically missing, and he's looking to find them.
Right, that was the cliffhanger to the end of the series before it got canned.
Well, my question is, why did they leave him in the first place? And if that is answered, will that not make the ending bittersweet?
No, because they kind of agreed beforehand that they couldn't really take a child into the middle of what was supposed to be the South American jungles. So they left him with Phil and his grandmother as safety. Unless you want Hey Arnold to be Tarzan, Lord of San Lorenzo.
That would have been hilarious.
That would have been hilarious, but that's an entirely different cartoon series to what we got.
It is.
So, I think that was established either in the last episode, in which they discussed why his parents are missing.
Well, we'll be looking to find out.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to say
Alright.
the least.
And lastly, oh hi guys.
What?
You have to take a look at the terrible masterpiece that is The Disaster Artist.
Disaster?
The movie about the making of a movie called The Room.
Oh no!
Yes. James
Oh no!
James Franco is playing our dear old friend, what's his name? Tommy Wiseau.
Tommy Wiseau.
He's playing Tommy Wiseau as Tommy Wiseau is making the Room.
Oh no!
And it is a very tongue-in-cheek retelling of how that actually went down.
Jesus.
Ooh, that'll be fun to watch. I wonder if this will be our Plan 9 from outer space.
I mean,
I'm pretty
Equivalent.
sure the room was.
the fact that The Room is a parody movie is now it's Mono's Hands of Fate, and now there's a movie There's a B movie about a B movie coming out. Like it's fantastic.
B movieception.
Yeah. So
Where's the ninja apocalypse?
So specifically, the Disaster Artist is named after the James Franco book of the same name, where he goes in and he talks about his experience working with Tommy Wiseau making The Room, and it includes a large number of things, including the insistence at doing multiple takes of the sex scene with Lisa, Lisa's actress. The needlessly filming of extra footage just because he could.
Okay.
And just the nonsensicalness of the film's plot points because characters are being hired and fired on the spot. So it is rather hilarious, and I'm looking forward to seeing it come out.
What the factual shit?
It is quite literally memeception.
I hate humanity.
I love it.
You want to talk about hating humanity? Let's briefly mention the abysmal horror that is the Emoji Movie.
I want to know what happened to
movie is
Patrick Stewart.
cancer
Did he
incarnate.
really need a check that badly?
Apparently they do.
Was he going on vacation and just needed some extra spending cash?
Yes, he needed to afford a third yacht.
Okay, is there a point in the movie where everyone just said, "Oh God, please no"?
I don't know.
Steve Carell.
I don't know if they were getting to that point. I'm pretty sure they were doing that off camera or off screen. But I digress.
Oh my goodness.
Zero.
I know there has to be a point where people had to stop and look up in horror as they realized that they paid money to see this.
Yeah.
There has to be a point. There has to be a reason why there is 0% on Rotten Tomatoes for this movie.
Yeah.
What gets me is people are going to go see it anyway.
Yeah, people are gonna, and that's what we were trying to tell Legend over at dinner yesterday. Is
morbid curiosity.
Do not give in to your morbid curiosity. Do
and
not
then they're
give
going to
in.
wonder why a sequel got made.
Oh
Because
right.
There's a sequel?
There's a sequel already paid for. Yes.
Humanity's done for. We're done as a society.
They said that a long time ago about miniskirts.
They keep saying that. I don't think you know what that. I don't think that word means what you think it means. Zero, what's coming out on the channel?
Well, the last episode of
Shovel Knight.
Shovel Knight will be up on Tuesday. The rest of the week, there's not going to be much. Starting the following week will be Bayonetta. Going to try to do start working on the Danganronpa Let's Play as well. That's going to be uploaded once a week, I think, maybe.
Yeah, just because of the sheer workload for that.
Yeah.
It is.
Although I will say Bayonetta's been a bit of a workload too.
Yes.
For reasons we were not expecting and pray do not have
Occur
to
again.
expect again.
Right. Lastly, with the Splatfest coming out next week, we are going to try and do some experimental video with that. See how that works out.
3 experimental videos. I'll probably post them all on the same day.
The same day, I would make that a week in itself.
Maybe.
But I mean, you're the editor. You're the one who figures out the release schedule, so you tell us.
Well, the thing is, if we just... I don't know, really, to be honest.
I mean-
Because Splatfest is interesting, to say the least. You almost want to live stream that, almost.
Yes, but that would require that. I think that at least right now, the movie for the format would work better. But we could also do a live stream as well. I mean, it could work either way.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, let's stick with what we know, because the stream can be very finicky, especially if we have connection issues, which we do suffer from.
Yeah.
So that'll be it for now. This is Leo Force.
This is Death Zero.
This is Smoozy.
This is Legend Hunter, signing out with his actual name.
Have a good weekend, guys.
Later.
Ciao, and watch
Bye.
out for gear asses!